Welcome back to Daily Planet, day 3 of the Art of Science Week here on the show. And we do have a special treat. It's the story of an artist who's completely colorblind, but who uses an electronic eye that allows him to paint in color. It's pretty cool stuff. Even cooler in a way, because he considers himself a cyborg, and we like to say he's an eyeborg. Neil Harbison doesn't see the world the way everybody else does.
I find it very strange that you see this energy between an object and your eyes, and that you name it blue or name it red. It's really hard to imagine.
That's because he sees the world like this. Neil was born totally colorblind.
I have a chromatopsia, which means I cannot perceive color hue. I can see shades of gray, like from light to darkness, but I cannot distinguish a red from a blue or a green from a yellow.
While kids around him got creative drawing purple skies with yellow clouds, Neil spent his childhood learning the true colors of things.
I memorized a lot of things, like the grass is green, the sky is blue, things that are always the same more or less. But when I realized that the sea was not always blue and that the sky also is not always blue, then it all became more complicated.
Neil may never see color, but now at least he can hear it.
So if I listen to this medium gray, it sounds very low, so it's a shade of red. So it's a shade of red, a type of red. This looks dirty white, but it sounds a bit higher than red, so it's in the range of yellow. Then this one's even higher than yellow, so it's a bit higher in the spectrum, so it's green, but I see it dark gray. And this one has gone down again from green, so it's the same as the second, a shade of yellow. And this is silent, which is white. White is silent.
Distinguishing color adds a new dimension to Neil's life, especially his life as an artist. At college, he had a special exemption allowing him to submit works in black and white. But then, he met Adam Montandon of HMC Interactive.
HMC Interactive is a company that I founded with some friends a few years ago to try to do the most amazing things with new technology, whether it's unusual, magical, or surprising, something that makes people say, wow.
He wowed Neil by designing the eyeborg.
It's very simple. We use a head-mounted camera similar to a normal webcam, and a regular laptop or PC, and a pair of headphones. And what it does is the camera looks at the color in front of it. It then slows down that color so that it stops becoming visual and starts becoming a sound, and then plays that sound back to Neil so that he can hear it.
Now I'm listening to the sound of each color, and I'm memorizing the pitch.
It marries the musical scale with the color spectrum.
So for example, red is one of the lowest frequencies in the color spectrum, becomes a very low note. Violet is one of the highest frequencies in the color spectrum, becomes a very high note. So he's listening to color directly.
The first time Neil tried the eyeborg, color became music to his ears.
It was a magic moment. Adam told me this sound is red, this sound is blue, this sound is green, yellow, and then we just walked along the corridors of Dartington College, and when I heard the same sound as I heard before, I said, "Is this red?" And then everyone said yes, and so it was the first time I was able to perceive a color without having to ask. So it's between this color and this color. This sound is between this sound and this sound, so I should mix those two.
But as he discovered when he was a child, color's a complicated thing.
It's quite close, not exact, but this sound and this sound almost. And it should be a bit higher. So I put a bit more of this sound, which is high. Well, more or less I would use this, and now I search the hue. More or less sounds the same, but it's too dark, so I'll put some white.
Colors everywhere, and you don't just see one at a time.
Dark.
When Neil experiences an entire scene of color, what he does first is he picks up the entire average feeling of the room. So you might walk into a room and think, this is a very warm room or a very cold room. He will hear that sort of experience.
The Iborg changes his perception of the world in many ways.
To me, colors are sounds, but it's also the other way around. For example, my Hoover sounds red, but I know it's not red, it's actually blue. Or the telephone line sounds green, but the telephone is another color.
Neil's now working on a series of paintings that look very simple, but in fact, they're the colors of European capital cities.
I believe that cities are extremely colorful and that each city has its own color. And I walk along the streets of each neighborhood until I feel that I've perceived a main color. And when I've found that, I go to the next neighborhood, and then when I have all of them, I just see what colors dominate. It's usually two.
Like different crayon packs, Neil can perceive the world in 12 colors, 72, even as many as 360 colors. Or he can choose to turn the Iborg off and view the world naturally in shades of gray. He used to get a lot of headaches using the device, but not anymore.
After a few months of wearing it, I began to feel that the eye was a part of my body. I began to find it strange to take it off because I was wearing it all the time, so it just became an extra sense. When I had to renew my passport, I just sent my image, and then they replied that I couldn't wear electronic equipment on my passport, and then I just replied that this was a part of my body because I felt I was a cyborg. We asked my doctor and Adam to write letters to them, explain that I felt that it was a part of my body. So in the end, the passport office recognized me as a cyborg.
Is that a camera?
No, it's a color sensor.
Oh.
People don't know what it is, so they just either laugh at it or ask me what it is or want to touch it or just many things. Yeah, I've been kicked out of many places as well, like Harrods or Casino Monte Carlo in Monaco, because they thought I would cheat or something.
The thing with cyborgs is it's part man, part machine. So it's all very well to manufacture the machine, but you really have to have the man or the person behind it, and that's what makes it special in this case.
Despite the dramatic impact Iborg has had on his life, the irony is Neil still doesn't know what red actually looks like.
I've always had this love-hate relationship with color, so it's not that I like color, I just find it interesting. I've hated color a lot because I've lived without seeing it for 21 years and I still don't see it, so there's still something that I don't like about its existence. But now that I can perceive color, I can relate to it. I also like it.
You know, we've got lots more art and science online. You just have to log on to discoverychannel.ca to check out how a group of students are making art out of